Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Focus TV. Happy New Year to everyone as well. First time we're here since the New Year, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yep. See, Tom's messing with me right now. All right, but Cardell, I do know this is your first time back in studio in a while, and you weren't supposed to be here, but shout out to the weather, because we'll let you tell everybody where you're supposed to be at, where you intended to be at, because we expect to see that chair empty. At times you'll be filling in from a digital standpoint, being in the field, on the road, in the gym, so that all the times you're here, say in the gym, you guys get to see that. But we got Octavia White here, Cardell Dudley, and Wilson Survey Jr. And tonight, got a little high school basketball day with Cardell, some college basketball as well. Octavia, we're going to discuss this whole wild card weekend, take a look ahead at the divisional round. And then we're going to talk about this coaching thing in the NFL where we just keep recycling people, and then other people just like jump and circumvent the ways that they told us things are supposed to go. So depending on who you are, what you look like, it's very interesting. But we can get that a little bit later. And, obviously Jamal Hayward, 9450, first one of the new year. But Cardell, you will talk about it. We saw the highlights, John Champe. Yep. Tell us about your experience covering them. We had a coach in quite a while back. But, just what that was like for you.
I mean, just like you said, we had Walt Webb as a guest a couple of months back right before the season. He was just talking about, obviously his history coaching and his thoughts moving forward with this season, his expectations and whatnot. And he validated his resume, what he told us, of how well of a coach he is, man. Entering the game against Freedom last Friday, they were 7-2. They're pretty much one of the top surprising teams in the area. And they've already beat Freedom. They beat Freedom early in the season at their place. So, Freedom was looking to get back. John Champe, junior point guard Jalen Jasper, scored 18 points, hit 4 3-pointers, while senior for Tyler Savage added 14 points, but it wasn't enough. John Champe fell at home to Freedom 65-59. The thing I liked about the game was both teams were well coached. John Champe were up 2 early in the fourth quarter, and then they had 4 straight turnovers. I think, it was a packed gym, and I think just the intensity and the level of competition, and, they got kind of selfish. They stopped running their plays, they got sloppy with the ball, and turnovers killed, man. And 4 straight turnovers, especially in the fourth quarter, of a high school game, it was hard to overcome. And with that, Freedom did what they had to do, knock down shots, and they won the game. But John Champe had the game the very next day, so they couldn't dwell on that. And this is why it's another sign of them being well coached. They bounced back and beat Atlantic Shores Christian 66-56. They improved to 8-3 on the season. Once again, Jalen Jasper continued his efficient play. He had a team high 15 points on 6 of 15 shooting with 1 turnover. Tyler Savage, a senior forward, nearly posted a double-double with 18 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. And James Jasper, the twin brother of Jalen, and Ishmael Carter added 10 points respectively. Now, I want people to keep in mind, last season, John Champe finished 9-15. So in the Walt Webb, they almost matched their win total, and January just started. So they're only going to keep getting better and better as the season goes along, and definitely, as, he stays there from year to year. So I would definitely keep an eye on John Champe. It's only a matter of time before, they're a powerhouse in the area. Eleanor Roosevelt, obviously, I mentioned on, New Show All Around that I did and what they did out in Slam Dunk. They came back home. They played without some of their key players like Quentin Messi, and they had to go on the road to face a tough Wise team. And their sophomore stepped up, helped them beat Wise in overtime 66-64. Roosevelt is now 5-1 on the season. This Friday, they will take on Bladensburg at 7:15. And obviously, like I said, I was supposed to be a good counselor. They were supposed to host Paul VI tonight. Good Counselor is another, fast rising team in the area, and they've already just exceeded expectations from a lot of people. And Paul VI, who came in number 1 in the preseason, they've lost 3 straight since Slam Dunk to the Beach when they lost to Stepanak. We have a couple of high major recruits, R.J. Davis going to North Carolina, Adrian Griffin going to Duke in a couple of years. He's a junior. So they will play tomorrow at 7 p.m. So I'll be there for that game.
All right, and go ahead, shameless plug. What was the thing that you talked about? The stepping back and all the six. What was?
All around.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know, got a new basketball show, kind of extension of the magazine. It's called All Around. Whereas it's just a total basketball show where I kind of dig deeper in the box score, so to speak. At all levels of what I do with the mag. All levels. I'm just gonna be more detailed. Stuff I can't touch on during the show right now, I'm gonna touch on there. I'm gonna try to get there. Keep pumping out shows as often as I can. It's a crazy schedule right now, especially in the thick of the conference. Conference play, not just in high school, but college and all that. Then you got the conference tournaments coming. Next thing you know, it's the draft and AAU. It's a lot going on. So, yeah, I'm gonna be working a lot. So, just bear with me. Knocked out the first show. Go to findthismag.com, check it out, and I have a second one coming soon.
All right, see, that's the wonderful thing when you got your own thing. You get to go ahead and just shameless plug things. So Octavia, we're gonna get you started on something soon. Try to get you. We're gonna see what happens, and hopefully it's not just ranting about the Eagles.
Sudfield, let's go, baby.
I knew that was coming. It's cool.
It's not for me. I'm not saying anything.
It's cool. I hope.
He would have won
Look,
again.
see, there's no reason to say that.
I caught it.
I haven't said one mean thing to you. That is so tough. You're
She know you thinking it. I'm
really
she
not.
can see you. Oh, you're not. Oh, you being nice, man.
No, look.
I'll wait till my segment.
No, hold on. Look. They're wounded. It is what it is. I was hoping that they did me a favor. They weren't able to do me a favor. It's cool. I can't feel any type of way. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to handle your own business, and that's what it is. But Cardell, you talked about World Web earlier. We're gonna go ahead and check out this interview that you did with him. Okay. Right after this break. You guys are watching the Focus TV.
Head coach, World Web, tough loss. What are some things that you felt got away from the guys and ultimately ended up in the loss for you guys?
I think we just need to be a little bit more patient. We needed to execute better. I think we allow our emotions to get too much of us, and we just need to stick with the game plan. At the end of the day, regardless of how well we play, we're a new program. There are a lot of systems, there are a lot of schemes and things that we haven't seen that we have to adjust to. But no matter what anybody does, if we just stick to who we are and do what we're supposed to do and share the responsibility, both ends of the floor, we'll be fine. But, we have a few guys that have good intentions, but we can't do it individually. We gotta share the responsibility.
All right, I'm gonna talk about the backcourt, man. They're small in stature, but the way they compete makes up for that. Talking about the Jasper Twins. Obviously, I know you felt like they could have played better, but overall, they made a big impact. And a lot of people might sleep on them just looking at them when they walk in the gym for the first time. But these are some ballers, and they're tough-minded. Just explain what they mean to this team.
They mean a lot. They mean a lot. Both offensively and defensively. They did a lot of those things on both sides of the ball for us tonight. They give us a chance in any scenario. And they're special. No ifs, ands, buts about that. But they're still growing. They're learning. Just as every kid across America that has the keys to a new car. They want to drive. They want to do what they want to do, and as long as they continue to be patient, that's when they're going to play their best ball. That's when they're going to be really, really successful. But they mean a lot to us, and everybody depends on them, to do what they do. But when those things don't work, as soon as they can go through the next responsibility, which is find a way through their teammates, they'll be even better.
Freedom inside scoring inside the paint. What is your take on that as far as to try to stop that moving forward? Because Johnson, the 6'6", it seemed like that's what kind of won the game for them in a sense, because they got easier points inside as opposed to shooting from the outside.
Yeah, so our size is always an issue just because of the way that we run, and you look at us in the layup line. We got some long guys, but at the same time, experience. Experience is key. Lance is an experienced basketball player. He did an excellent job. He did what he was supposed to do. He was patient in the paint. the team was patient in getting them the basketball and taking the highest potential shot. But it's not that we can't defend it. I think that we just overlooked some of our defensive assignments and they got the best of us.
Last question. Closing down the stretch, y'all had the lead, had the 2-point lead, then they tied it. What do you feel are some things that need to be improved so that y'all can close better moving forward as the season progresses?
Yeah, we just got to take care of the basketball and be a little bit more patient. We opened the game up, had a nice little series and run there, all out of our offensive sets. Transition, we were patient, playing the passing lane. But it's a marathon. And we've got to understand, we've got to be extremely tactful in how we defend and execute our offense with teams that we compete against. If we first quarter, second quarter, third quarter close out in the fourth, we'll be fine. But I think just being patient is our biggest thing. We've had some of our biggest wins and some of our largest margins of victory by playing slow. When we play fast, at some given point in time, you're going to suffer from something. Something's going to take a hit, whether it's the offensive end or the defensive end. So instead of trying to close games out in the first quarter, second quarter, we've got to understand we've got to be patient. We got to make teams work on the defensive end, and then we just got to put them away one play at a time.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Oh, for sure.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. We just had a very enlightening break here. Man,
the behind the scenes convo.
If y'all only
that's
knew.
a show in itself.
I almost let me
I got
explain
nothing to
this.
lose at this point.
I see that.
You.
I literally called.
We've been scouting all season, man. Y'all don't like how you laugh and you come on, chill.
No. I'm mad because I caught 2 strays and I did nothing. Not from you. I'm just
Guilty
saying,
by association at
I
this
said
point.
you-
I'm
I said
sorry.
You literally saw me. It was like, well, you with them. So.
I caught myself. I was about to say
Hold on. But
I am
going
going to say it, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
Yeah, no.
That's great. That's wonderful. Great.
Dang.
That's awesome. First show of the year.
Uh-huh.
Heck of a start.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, Cardell. GW had some whoopings.
Went to visit, went to cover GW. They held their home opener, well, not conference opener, against St. Bonaventure. Obviously doing a preview, I try to check out the other team thoroughly. St. Bonaventure is low-key, solid, a good team, depending on if they're healthy. And they're young. Like, they're top players and sophomores, and they're carrying them, so they're very dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make if they sneak into the tournament, I would not be shocked because they have great guard play and they have a big man that's on the NBA radar that a lot of people need to get familiar with, and I'll touch on him real quick. But for GW, freshman forward Jameson Battle finished with the season high 20 points. But GW ended up losing to St. Bonaventure 71-66. On Sunday, GW had no answer inside for St. Bonaventure 6'10" sophomore Osun Osuni. I hope I ain't mess up his name. He posted 20 points, 15 in the second half, 9 rebounds and 5 blocks. Fellow sophomore point guard Kyle Lawton, who's leading the A-10 in assists, added 17 points, 8 assists and 5 rebounds, and reserve sophomore forward Bobby Planutis and former Newtown High School, which is just outside of Baltimore, Matt Johnson, who came in the game averaging 2 points, contributed 13 and 11 points respectively for the Bonnies. But back to Osuni, highly athletic, long guy, a bit raw skill-wise, but everything he got defensively, he's there. Rebound-wise, he's there, and he finishes strong, and he's explosive. So I think a lot of NBA scouts are watching him, and when he's playing like this, when he has 20 points and 9 rebounds and 5 blocks, they're a different team, man. He's a force inside. And I was kind of seeing how will he match up with an Arnaldo Toro, but I don't think Toro's still healthy coming back from injury. Like I said, Osuni, he had 15 points in the second half. He pretty much won the game as GW's trying to close that gap to try to get the lead and hopefully win. He would always make a play, defense play, get the key rebound, finish inside, and it was nothing they could do with him inside. They were just too small. Kyle Lofton, what he does, he's not the greatest of shooters, but he's a tough guard. He can get in the lane. He loves contact, and he gets to the free throw line. Most of his points came from the free throw line. And Matt Johnson, GW had the lead in the first half, and it kind of looked like they had it under control as long as they maintained their level of play. Matt Johnson came off the bench and had a 7-0 run by himself, and that blew the game open. And then GW's playing from behind for the rest of the game. Battle wasn't the only one that did damage against St. Bonaventure. Amir Harris, Amir Potter, Marcel Jack all had 11 points apiece. Amir Harris, he made his first start as transfer from Nebraska. He's actually a local kid, went to St. James High School out in Hagerstown. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks with his 11 points. Potter also had 8 assists with his 11 points, and Jack, he played all 40 minutes, and he had 11 points. Colonials, they'll take on St. Louis at 8 p.m. tomorrow. You can see it on ESPN Plus, and then they'll face Duquesne, who's also killing. On Saturday, Duquesne is coached by LeBron James' old high school coach. So they're always, since he's took over the job, they have always been at the top of the standings. So I love seeing them play, and they have a couple prospects as well. So this conference play, bear with me. We're gonna see how this ride goes. And as for the GW women's, they opened their A-10 play on the road against George Mason. They had a 3-point lead after a strong, first half, but George Mason started the second half on a 20-0 run.
Yikes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can't win like that.
Yeah. And they kept their lead and beat GW 70-60. Sophomore Kayla Mogwa scored 6 of her team high 12 points in the fourth quarter and had 4 assists. And Brada and grad student Alexandra Mound each had 11 points for the Colonials. Tamia Lawhorn scored 15 of her career high 22 points for George Mason in the third quarter alone. GW would now on Wednesday they would have a about the field trip day games from the Mystics. So they would take on Duquesne tomorrow at 11 a.m.
That's gonna be a loud one.
I hope
Those
so.
kids know every word to every song. It lasts all 4 quarters. All right, on the Maryland women's, as you said, conference play. That's pretty much where we are, depending on no matter where you are in the country. It's just a matter of how many games you're into your conference schedule at this point. The Terps had a bad outing at Northwestern. They went to Illinois, and 81-58, the Wildcats took care of business. Again, I know some people looking at the Big Ten before the year started, not able to identify like the heavy hitters. Sometimes you're going to find out by the time you get to the end of this. But one of the things that happened in that game for Maryland, they turned it over 24 times and they struggled mightily to shoot the ball. We talked here already, talked about how Maryland's defense has been ahead of their offense this year, and I expect their offense to be something that kind of, if everything goes right in their world, it would start to peak the closer you get to conference tournament, NCAA tournament, should they make it. But what Maryland did do, they got a chance to rebound from a very poor outing. Last night they hosted Ohio State after a very slow first half in which it was 25-24. Maryland came out in the third quarter and defense. Seniors Blair Watson and Kyla Charles, their ball pressure was crazy. They tortured Ohio State's ball handlers. It led to countless deflections and steals. The 2 seniors combined to generate 11 of the team's 16 steals. Those 2, and they were at the top of the press. And then if Ohio State did get into the half court, Maryland. We talked about Maryland being the switching defense. It was one of those situations where, unfortunately for some Ohio State players, you had Kyla, then you got a screen, then you got Blair on you. You got another screen, here's Kyla again, or Shakira. It just really wasn't that much for Ohio State in the second half. But Maryland, huge third quarter run. They take control of that, and Kyla's continued to assert herself as since beginning of conference play. She's really come alive on the offensive end. She's found her place on the floor where she's able to do her most damage. She scored 18 of her game-high 28 points in the second half. But the other thing I want to mention, she also had 7 rebounds and 4 steals. But Blair Watson, talk about different ways that you can impact the game. 28-7, it's going to get a whole lot more headlines than 8-7-7. But again, that's 8.7 rebounds and 7 steals. just as much of an impact that Kyla had on that game without those two, what they did. And you would think that 7 steals is a career high. It's just the second time she's done that in her career at Maryland. Maryland, next 2 games, they're on the road before they return home. All right, Octavia, go ahead. The floor is yours. NFL, I guess I was thinking we're going to do wild card round.
That's cool.
Then divisional, and then we'll talk about some of the coaching stuff.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Definitely. So, yes, wild card weekend was definitely wild. First game of the weekend was the Texans versus the Bills. I think it was a great game to start off the wild card weekend. Texans were victorious 22, Bills 19. Josh Allen was 24-46, 264 yards, 9 carries for 92 yards, and 1 reception for 16 yards as 1 touchdown. Rookie Singletary had 13 carries, 58 yards, 6 receptions for 76 yards. On the other side, Watson was 20 of 25, 247 yards, 1 touchdown, and 14 carries for 55 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Carlos Hyde had 16 carries for 48 yards and 1 reception for 5 yards for a touchdown. And Hopkins had 6 receptions for 90 yards and 1 fumble lost. This was definitely the Bills' game to lose, and that's what happened. I hate to always try to put the blame all on one person, but Josh Allen had a lot of mental lapses in the last couple minutes of the game, and I feel like that was kind of really what put it away. You could see that he's still, pretty fairly new in the NFL and still trying to get his bearings, and it being his first playoff run. But some of those mistakes as a quarterback and a leader of a team, you just can't make. Just blindly throwing the ball behind you, I don't know. One thing I can think of is he just was like, I don't know, take the ball. It was just kind of like crazy. And on the other side, like the Texans held on. It's crazy to me that J.J. Watt was able to come back from his pectoral injury that he suffered in October. But he came back. He disrupted the game. And he was there for his team. You could see how much he was into it and how much of a supporter he's been all year off the field. And it just transcended right back onto the field as he's always been. Watson I don't know how he got away. I don't know. That was supposed to be a sack, and that would have been the game. That would have been the game. So that's why I say I hate to say that it's all Josh Allen's fault, because I feel like you win as a team, you lose as a team, and that was another way that their defense could have helped them to still secure that win. But I think it's still positive for the Bills. It's been a long time since they've been in the playoffs. I believe if they would have won this game, it would have been their first playoff win since 94 or 95. It's a long time. So they're trending in the right direction, but the Texans have shown, they're here to stay and they're here to compete. So it's going to be great to see them play next week. Second game in the AFC for the wild card, the Titans played the Patriots, and as everybody else is saying, the dynasty has finally fallen. The Titans were victorious against the Patriots, 20-13. Ryan Tannehill was 8 of 15, 72 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception, 4 carries for 11 yards. Henry was 34 carries, 182 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 reception for 22 yards. Ferksker had 2 receptions for 23 yards and a touchdown. Oh, I didn't even put the Patriots stuff. I'm so sorry. But, yeah, the Patriots, it kind of looked like Father Time was catching up with them, in my opinion. It's a little rough for them at this point. For them, Tom Brady was 20 of 37, 209 yards, 1 interception. Sony Michel had 14 carries and 61 yards. Julian Edelman had 2 carries, 12 yards, 1 touchdown. It's like they were reversed. James White had 5 receptions for 62 yards. It just was not enough offense, in my opinion. You can see how much they miss Gronk. It's definitely obvious. And I just think at this time, Father Time has finally caught up to Tom Brady. Who knows what he's going to do after this? His contract is up. And who knows if Robert Kraft is going to, champion for him again to be re-signed. Or if Belichick is going to be like, it's time to kind of move on. To be honest, I don't even know who their backup quarterback is.
I think they got rid of all of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got rid of most of them. Jacoby Brissett left. Jimmy went to you guys. So
Jarrett Stidham.
Exactly. So it's
sorry.
Disrespectful.
I
Backup
have to
quarterbacks.
know these things. I'm sorry.
Not you.
Oh.
She said exactly. It's just the
I'm just
disrespect.
saying. Do you know who he is?
The
Nate
la-
Sudfeld of ASC. That's what he.
Okay, then. My point exactly.
I think Stidham with LSU, right?
Who?
Stidham? I don't know. It's SEC school. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So it was just, I just feel like it, and I mean, Derrick Henry just, as my supervisor said to me at work, he said he was out there looking like a man child. I was like,
I didn't want to tackle that boy.
and you could tell that the last couple, I believe he sat out the last couple of games, and he had fresh legs, he was ready to go, and 34 carries, 182 yards. I mean, they couldn't stop him. So, and credits to Tannehill as well. He was quote unquote a bust coming out of Miami and being able to then come to this Titan team and give them a little bit of a resurgence. And Mike Vrabel, who used to play for the Patriots, this was definitely probably a great win for him, especially because I believe that they were not favored to win the game, but they pulled it out, and that's all that matters. So they'll be facing, I'll see who they face. We'll talk about that later. And on the NFC side, I'll go ahead and start with my team. It's my sad sound.
Why are you making that face?
So
I'm just watching the highlights.
I'm
I'll take the educated.
just going to continue to be mature.
I'm not going to be mature after this.
I said me.
I'm not. So the Seahawks defeated the Eagles 17-9 again. Let's first say that was the exact same score when they beat us earlier this year. I'm just going to say that. Russell Wilson was 18 of 30, 325 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 carries for 45 yards. Marshawn Lynch had 6 carries for 7 yards and 1 touchdown. Homer had 11 carries for 12 yards. DK Metcalf, 7 receptions.
7 for 160 in the tutty.
You ain't got
that.
I got you.
Basically. On the other side, Carson Wentz was 1 of 4, 3 yards, because he was injured. And Jason McCown stepped in. He was 18 of 24, 174 yards, 5 carries for 23 yards. Miles Sanders had 14 carries for 69 yards, and Dallas Goedert had 7 receptions for 73 yards. Once again, Carson Wentz exited. Well, at least he made it, to the game this time in the postseason. But didn't last long. He was taken out on a dirty play. Jadeveon Clowney with a helmet to the back of the head as Carson was falling to the ground. So he got hit in the back of the head with another helmet and then hit his head on the ground and was ruled out with a head injury. Was not able to return, which forced 40-year-old McCown into his first playoff game ever. And you can tell. I give him credit, because it's tough to step in a situation like that, especially coming behind the franchise player. But I think for what he is, 40-year-old, wasn't planning on playing. He was retired. He was coaching football somewhere else. To come in and try to do as well as he did, I think he did an okay job. But at this point, you lost your leader. It got to the point where the front couldn't contain Russell Wilson either, so then they had to send Jenkins as a spy, who then you don't have any hope on the back end. So it was just all bad all the way around. But kudos to the Seahawks. They did what they were supposed to do. They came out there. They won. Russell Wilson was amazing as always. I mean, I still feel like our front side did pretty well because, like I said, we held their rushing attack to a very, very low number of yards. It was just the back end and DK Metcalf. And it still pains me because I don't know why we didn't draft him, but I just don't understand.
Y'all not the only team, and
that's the crazy part. And I like Metcalf because he remembers that. He has a chip on his shoulder. All through this game they talked about how nobody thought he would go past the first round. One of the commentators were even saying that they had him at 7th overall, and he slipped all the way to the second round. And he's showing everybody not to overlook me and not to, pay attention. This is what I do. And for him to be as big as he is and as fast as he is crazy. And they showed a picture of him when he was a kid trying to pretend like he was Superman. Then they showed the other picture he is huge. So he's not a skinny or moderate weight guy that can kind of run fast. He's stacked, so it's hard to first catch him, and then it's hard to get him down. So kudos to them, especially they weren't 100% either. Excuse me. They said Jadeveon Clowney wasn't even 100%. But they went out there and they did what they were supposed to do. On the other NFC game of the weekend, rounding it up, the Vikings played the Saints. The Vikings were victorious, 26-20. Kirk Cousins was 19-31, 242 yards and 1 touchdown. Dalvin Cook, 28 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions for 36 yards. Adam Thielen was 7 receptions, 129 yards, 1 fumble. And Kyle Rudolph, 4 receptions, 31 yards and 1 touchdown. To me, it's just hopefully, I hope that the Saints don't have anything to complain about this year because I'm over it at this point because you can't continue to blame one play for the fact that you lost a game. It is what it is. You lost. The Vikings went out there. Kirk Cousins finally proved that he can win a big game when it matters the most, because a lot of times the most flack that he gets is he's not big. He doesn't play well in big time games. And most of it is just the fact that he hasn't won a Monday night game in his career. That's usually the things that they say about him. But he was out there. He was poised. Dalvin Cook, those last 2 games off of him as well, did well for him. He had fresh legs. He was a power runner. He was everywhere. And he just drug a lot of them. It was still a tough game, a close game. They were going back and forth. And the one thing that surprised me the most is that Drew Brees had a big hand in the fact that they lost this game. The fact that he fumbled in a very key play. And I think that kind of shifted the momentum for them. And it was just a wrap after that. So who knows, again, with him being in his 40s as well, does he plan on coming back as well? But it was definitely a game to watch. So it was a great weekend as far as all the games. Next weekend's games are going to be just as exciting, if not more. It's crazy how great the games were this past weekend. But just to kind of go on to next weekend, we are going to have Buffalo at Houston. I'm sorry, that's what we just said. I apologize. There we go. So we're actually going to have Minnesota at San Francisco. And then we're going to have the Tennessee Titans who are going to play at Baltimore. You have Houston who's going to face Kansas City. And you have Seattle who's going to face Green Bay. So let's go ahead and start Seattle and Green Bay. What happened? I missed it. I told you, I have no cut cards for the rest of the year, guys. It's a wrap. My team ain't playing no more. I don't care about nothing.
You said every other team with a different type of energy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I said everybody with the same amount of energy. I don't know how you heard it, but that's how it came out. Seattle and Green Bay. Seattle's gonna go to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers in my opinion, but I just think that Seattle's going to get on a little bit of a run. I think Marshawn is getting his legs back. And, like I said, Homer had 11 carries for 12 yards. And he's still a rookie. I think Marshawn just needs some time to kind of get back in the groove of thing. And these past 2 weeks have helped him. So, I'm thinking Seattle will pull it out unless Green Bay is just amazing. And, home field advantage is definitely an important thing. Playing up there in Lambeau is no joke. Both teams, playing at their arenas is tough. If you play in Seattle, it's crazy, but playing in Lambeau as well in January, it's gonna be cold. So it's gonna be a time. Anybody anything?
Look, I look at Green Bay the same way I look at New Orleans. I look at them like I feel like most people should look at the Houston Rockets. Like, it's really fun regular seasons, and everyone lies to themselves and says it's going to be different in the postseason. Yeah, we all know how it's, it ends a similar way each and every time, but so many of us just lie to ourselves. Things are going to change.
They're going to be great. I feel like
the same thing.
I feel like they've, like you said, they've had an under the radar season. Like, they've done well throughout the season, but it's like when they've done bad, it's been bad. Yeah. To put this in perspective, we beat the Packers. Like, let's be real. Yes, I'm there. But I can never count Rodgers out completely. I can never do that because he is a Hall of Fame type of quarterback, and he finds a way to get it done, even with the limited resources that he has as well, because he really only has one true wide receiver with Adams as it is anyway, but he's been making these other wide receivers relevant. And, you know, Jimmy Graham was a household name years ago, you know, so I'm wondering if he's going to step it back up. Is he going to play to his highest potential? But I still got Seattle pulling it out. Houston at Kansas City, I think it's going to be a great game. I mean, the two dynamic quarterbacks as it is with Watson and Mahomes. But I just feel like Kansas City probably is going to pull that out as well. They're well rested. They're home. They're not banged up. But at the same time, like I said, I think the resurgence of J.J. Watt coming back kind of puts some more electricity into that team. And I really feel like, because like J.J. Watt is Houston, basically. Like, he's Houston. And I don't even mean that just as a team. I mean that as a city. Like, they love JJ there, and I feel like they ride for him and they play hard when he's there and he's on the field. So I think it's going to be definitely a great game as well. But I just feel like Kansas City has too many weapons, and one of my favorite coaches ever, Andy Reid's mind, you know, as many different coaches that has come from history as far as being underneath him, whether it be an assistant or intern or whatever it's been. They've all transcended well into the league as coaches. I just think he has a great football mind, and whatever Houston throws at him, he's going to be able to, you know, change it up and be able to adapt to it.
I'm looking at Deshaun, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him for Houston, period. I think he got to elevate his game to match Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think if he does that, it could be a shootout. Because I know Hawkins going to be there.
Oh, yeah, he going to ball out.
I know Hawkins going to be ready.
Especially with his last game, he only had 6 receptions. You know, I'm sure he's hungry for some more.
Yeah, so I think if Deshaun ball out like he's capable of doing it, it could be a very interesting game. Because I don't think Kansas City front four hasn't been like it was in the past couple of years.
True.
So he has every opportunity to do his damage, and I'm looking at him. But meanwhile, on the other side, Houston got some people that can potentially get to Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? So I want to leave. Obviously, Kansas City should be favored, but you know
it's gonna be a dogfight. Yeah,
if the Deshaun we saw, you know, last weekend shows up, then Kansas City gonna win.
Right.
But if he plays up to his ability, yeah, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, for me, both of those quarterbacks are super special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's supporting cast steps up more.
Yep.
Like that's it for me, and especially like even with both defenses, I obviously got more faith. I'm with you. Got more faith in Houston's defense in terms of guys in the front seven. But you know, I know Kansas City's back end has been playing kind of well to close the regular season. Just was ready to make more plays. And the other thing, Houston's kind of different when Will Fuller's healthy.
Yeah.
He's supposed to play in this game.
Okay.
Will Fuller is. That's the thing. Like Patrick Mahomes has a bunch of Will Fuller speed guys.
Mm-hmm.
When Deshaun has Will Fuller, Houston becomes really difficult to deal with because the fly.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, for me, it's just a sport cast, but that's definitely one of the games I'm definitely looking forward to watching for sure.
And then you got Tennessee at Baltimore. I'm just excited to see Lamar. Honestly, like I just want to see it transcend into the playoffs. I want to see how it works out. You know, their whole team, it's just. It's special at this point, and like we talked about all season, how much that coaching staff has built around Lamar and not have tried to change what he's capable of doing. They've just been doing things to accentuate the things that he's good at, you know, and it's worked completely for them. I'm just really interested to see how it transcends into the playoffs. Is he going to, you know, I feel like he's a level-headed player anyway, but I just feel like the playoffs is a different beast sometimes. You kind of get inside your own head, especially being, you know, not a rookie, but a rookie in the playoffs in this sense. And I just want to see if on the other side, are the Tennessee Titans going to be the same team we saw last week? Is Tannehill going to play well? Is Derrick Henry going to have, you know, the same legs? Is he still going to be able to run through that tough Baltimore defense as well? And I don't think it's going to be as easy for him as it was last week as it's going to be this week. So I'm really interested to see that. You know, I'm hoping Baltimore pulls it out, honestly. But I'm definitely looking forward to that game as well.
Cardell, your thoughts on
It's all about the MVP. I like where Earl Thomas said. He was just like, yeah, they did that against the Patriots. They act like they want to tackle on them. So we gonna be a little different. So that's what I like about that. I look for teams when they talking championship in any sport. I look for the sense of urgency, and they've been playing with a sense of urgency all year long. And I don't think they're gonna get to this point and just be like, let them, okay, we're here. No, I mean they're dogs over there. They had a week off, so to speak. Ingram he can get healthier, like be ready to go. I mean, I just don't see no way Tennessee guys. I'm just keeping the buck. I just think they're gonna run over them. They're gonna destroy them unless Lamar just off.
Yep.
That's the only way I can see it going down. But even then, Ingram can beat you with the legs, and then their defense can hold you down. And they can make scoring plays, like they can make you fumble, get interceptions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Defense can definitely score.
So it don't take much especially if Lamar and them have a short field. Defense stopping them, which is
definitely possible.
Yeah, a lot. It could get ugly. So I just don't see no way.
Nah, I'm with you guys. I think that's easily for me the easiest one to pick this week, just because the way that Baltimore blitz, like some people blitz. They blitz to
kill you.
Yes.
Coming at your neck.
They blitz with a whole purpose. So, like, my whole thing is, I know what you said about Ryan Tannehill, and he's done an admirable job there, considering they've had some issues at the quarterback position.
Yeah, but
that's
a different beast. Yeah, it's a different beast.
I remember seeing them play Sanford earlier this year, and the thing that stuck out to me, and I will never forget this part of that game, I don't care about how it ended or anything, was the fact that on, like, 25 dropbacks, they blitzed 21 times. And Tennessee's not even a team that typically drops back and throws like that anyways, right? If they're gonna send that much pressure at you anyways, that's a whole lot to deal with. The biggest thing with Derrick Henry, he's like the juggernaut, right? Once they get going, it's tough as you know what to take them down. But the Ravens got the type of dudes where if they're in the backfield, you can't get going. And the other thing, like you said, the Patriots, they didn't want to tackle. They wanted no parts of that.
None.
Whole experience. Wanted no parts of it. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that's the easiest one to pick for the week for me.
And the last game, Minnesota at San Francisco.
Who you got winning? Just
go Vikings. What they say, Skull, whatever that is.
Good Lord.
It's Skull.
I mean, this is the petty in me, guys. Minnesota at San Francisco. I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, I do think San Francisco will probably pull it off. They've had a week off.
And that hurt to say, didn't it?
It did. It really did.
She like us low key. That's why it hurt.
Man. I used to, but then it gets too convoluted. I don't got time anymore.
Convoluted. That's tough.
Yeah, it gets too convoluted at this point. But I'm interested to see, is Kirk going to still be, the Kirk we saw last week, or is he going to go back to can't win on Monday night games anymore? Like, this is a bigger game than last week. So is he going to be able to play up to his potential? Stephon Diggs was kind of off last week as well. He did a lot of crying that I don't like. But, is he going to be able to be back at, the level he's been in the past? I'm interested to see how, because it's only been a week. I'll take that back. I feel like San Francisco's been off, on a break for a while. I just felt like it, but it hasn't really been like that.
No, it feels like that because that last game was a Sunday night.
Yeah, so it to me just feels like it's been a while, but I know it really hasn't. I just want to see how Jimmy's going to come out. I'm always interested to see which running back is going to get started.
Yeah.
And because they have the carousel with Mostert and Breida, and I don't know if he's still hurt, but Breida and Coleman, and they've all had great games this year. So I'm interested to see which one is actually really going to get started. I want to see who's going to take on the challenge as far as Minnesota taking on the challenge of George Kittle, because that's going to be a beast in itself. Because I don't know what they're going to do, but they get a lot of the 49ers get a lot of injured players back as well. D4, Quan Alexander, these are players that are coming back, and I'm sure they're like, I'm ready to go at this point, and they probably smell blood at this point. So Kirk is going to have to move a little bit faster this week. Going to have to try to get the ball out a little bit faster as well. Dalvin Cook is going to have to be there, if they feel like they're going to have a chance in the game. But, I still think San Francisco will probably pull it out, as much as it hurts to say.
That sounded so painful. Cardell,
it does.
That's so, man, it shouldn't hurt that much.
It does.
Once again, it come back to the quarterbacks for me. I know Jimmy G had a pretty solid season, but he ain't too proven in the playoffs right now. So I got to see what he's gonna bring. Kirk Cousins, he took a big step last week. He showed up. You know what I mean? So you gotta give him credit. So that's confidence coming in. He knows. Not just with him, his team. They know he can get it done. So when you got confidence in somebody like that, they gonna give you extra effort. When he throw bad balls, they gonna try to get those balls. As opposed to you know what I'm saying? So, but I think just home field. If Jimmy shows up, I think y'all should get the win. I think y'all should pull it out. But it's the quarterback play for me. And right now it's a toss up. We just gotta see who plays the best, and I think that would determine the winner.
Yeah, for me, I agree with the quarterback thing. For me, it's O-lines in this matchup, right? Both teams really want to run the ball, but I guess like the difference to me is one team runs the ball so they don't have to throw it, and the other team runs the ball because they want to impose their will. And I think that's just the biggest difference for me is Dalvin's been amazing. Minnesota's a different team when Dalvin's there because their team goes as Dalvin goes. When Dalvin's healthy, Minnesota get the play action going, everything's fun downfield. When you bottle Dalvin up, all those throwing in the tight windows and stuff, they hold on to the ball a little bit more. Then we've seen in the past where the receivers kind of wonder why the ball's not coming out, things of that nature. I'm also interested in seeing in how Minnesota's defense does because it's one of those stricter defenses, and Kyle has a habit for, like, they played Carolina earlier this year. Carolina's one of those defenses as well where they're really big on their rules. It's about their rules of their defense more so than your instincts at a certain degree. And one thing that Kyle likes to do is make you test your rules.
Right.
So, like, I'm supposed to, in strict defense, I'm supposed to trust that you're going to be exactly where you are, even if I see it and you didn't see it yet. Instead of me going over to get it, I got to trust that you're going to be there. So there are different things that be going on. But, yeah, to me, it's just up front. Who's ever able to run the ball, I think that's it. I mean, that's it for me.
Yeah. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to touch on some of the recent fires and hires in the league. The teams that were that let go of their coaches this year, the Cleveland Browns fired Dirk Cutter. Of course, Washington fired John Gruden earlier in this year. The Giants did also fire Pat Shermer. And it's crazy to me, the Dallas Cowboys, they did fire him. I don't know if he actually left the building yet, but Jason Garrett lost his job as well. And, of course, we know Ron Rivera was out in Carolina. So we can start with the home team. The Redskins picked up Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera also brought in Del Rio as the defensive coordinator. Any thoughts?
I mean, for me, I like it because it's something that's going to be something that's needed here. Somebody that's a leader, somebody knows what they want. And we've already kind of seen it already where it feels like for once they got someone who will look Dan Snyder in the face and be like, no.
Yeah.
Which is huge here because they haven't had that before. I like the fact that they gave Ron full control as it seems. I know they hired North Turner's son, Scott Turner, today for offense coordinator. A lot of people wanted Kevin O'Connell to be it. But, I just like that go the right direction. They haven't picked their GM yet. I'm kind of part of this school of thought that thinks that you should have if you hire the coach first, have them pick their GM, that's the person they got to work with so they can be on the same page versus what you see going on in New York with the Giants where they got Gettleman and everybody want to work with Dave Gettleman. So then you're already like cutting out a group of coaches out of your search because if I see how you do stuff and I don't like it, I know I want to work with you. But real quick before we get back to this, want to take a quick break, but before that, 9-4-50 because Jamal Hayward, as always, kills these things each and every week, so we got to start on 2020 the right way. Jamal Hayward this week is showing you freeze options off snaking the screen. Again, freeze options off snaking the screen. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the break.
Today we're going to go over some options off of the screen. We're only going to be snaking the screen, so I'm going to give you some options to work on. Then you get switched off with the big after you're snaking the screen. So, we're going to start with the ball on my right hand. Here's the screen, so high ball screen in the middle. So once I snake here, I'm giving you 3 options. Have the ball on my left hand. Lean out, right to the shot. You want all freeze moves in place, right to the shot. The biggest probably going to be 6'7", 6'10", 7 foot. So clean, and then back up. move. Snake. In between. In place. So make sure in between. Now step that right foot. Plant with that left foot. Right up. It's gotta be quick. Third move. It's just a hard pound in place. Up. That's when you start with the finger that's going to the basket. Those three moves will freeze the big and make them think that you're going to the basket. You have a wide open shot.
One.
That's how it's. Today we're going to go over some options off of the screen. We're only going to be snaking the screen, so I'm going to give you some options to work on. Then you get switched off with the big after you're snaking the screen. So we're going to start with the ball in my right hand. Here's the screen, the high ball screen in the middle. So once I snake here, I'm giving you three options. Have the ball in my left hand. Lean out, right to the shot. These are all freeze moves in place, right to the shot. The biggest probably going to be 6'7", 6'10", 7 foot. Quick move, and then back up, shot. Because they're afraid of you, going past you, going for a layup. Here it is, folks. Second move. Snake. In between. In place. So make sure in between. Now step that right foot. Plant with that left foot. Right up. It's gotta be quick. Third move. It's just a hard pound in place. Up. That's when you start with the finger that's going to the basket. Those three moves will freeze the big and make them think that you're going to the basket. You have a wide open shot.
Welcome back to the Focus TV, and as always, thank you so much to one Jamal Hayward for the 9-4-50 breakdown each and every week. All right, so before we get into rapid fire, I just want to run through some quick, some of these other coaching changes some people got hired today. We're going to get into this next week. We definitely are, because we won't let y'all breathe for a week, but we're going to talk about this. Baylor coach Matt Rule agreed to a 7-year contract. Coming to Carolina Panthers, new head coach, deals worth $60 million with incentives, could be up to 70. I already mentioned that North Turner's son, Scott Turner, is now the new offensive coordinator here in Washington. He served under Rivera as quarterback coach in both 18 and 19. He came on board with the Panthers as a whole in 2011 as a quarterbacks coach. Mike McCarthy, formerly of the Green Bay Packers, now the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. New York Giants hired Joe Judge. If you don't know who that is, wide receiver and special teams coach of the New England Patriots. And just before we move, the Browns still haven't hired anyone, but they seem to interview everyone before they probably still make the same bad decision.
Would you say bad teams do what?
Bad things. And then before, we're going to go into this in depth more next week for sure, but it's just interesting to all of us here that the goalposts continue to move for African-American coaches depending on, they tell you that you got to be offensive coordinator, then defense coordinator. And then apparently we learned today that none of these things even matter depending on who you are and who's the owner and who you actually want. But we'll get into that next week. Then you got a couple rapid fire questions?
Yes, I have a couple that should spark some interesting conversation. Roy Williams from North Carolina head coach got on a radio show, talk about the current state of his team. I believe his team is 8-6. And let me double check.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's not who we're accustomed to seeing from North Carolina.
Not at all.
Yes, they're 8-6, 7th in the ACC currently, and he just vented. He said at the A horrible loss to Georgia Tech. We stunk. Okay, we're not very good. The crazy thing about it is our team, and we had some very gifted teams. This is not a very gifted team. It's just not. He said, but lack of talent is no excuse. So if you're going to be like that, you got to bring your A game. Even though your A game may not even be an A game, you got to bring your best game to play on that day. So obviously they had 3 first-round picks go to the league last year: Kobe White, Cameron Johnson, Nazir Little, and Cole. They've been ravaged by injury. Cole Anthony went down early in the season. There's no telling if he could come back. Most people saying sit it out, get healthy, get ready for the draft because he's a for sure lottery pick. Freshman center Armando Bacot, he was injured. He's just trying to get his rhythm back. Fellow freshman Anthony Harris, who's actually from the area, played up all the 6. Tore his ACL during the senior year, came back, played 5 games, and re-tore his ACL and the other knee, so he's out for the season. They've been punished by injuries. But what are your thoughts on a coach kind of going in on the team nationally like that?
I don't think that's a good look. I applaud him for his honesty and being transparent about how he's really feeling as a person and as a coach. But being on his team, I would feel some type of way. I would be like, okay, like, that's stuff that you keep to me in-house. Like, if that's how you feel about us, you yell at us like that on the court and in practice, make us run sprints, make us run stairs, whatever. But I don't think that's something that should have been outed to the world to know, because it kind of makes it look like you don't believe in your team. And when, just speaking as a former player, like, if I were to hear my coach say, stuff like that to everybody, I would like, well, dang. I mean, you would want to think that your coach knows that you're trying your best. Now, I can see if the coach feels like nobody's coming up to their potential, nobody's playing as well as I know that they can play, constructive criticism, but to be like, this team's just not that special, just like, well, dang, I would feel some type of way. But like I said, as a man, I applaud him for being honest and, open and transparent about it, but I just think there's some type of stuff you keep in-house.
Hey, man, tweet through it. It's a little year, right?
Tweet through it.
You're going to have to get through it. I'm indifferent to it. It is what it is. Like, you recruited the kids. It's a different type of kid these days. And maybe he's trying to push the right buttons, right? Like,
True.
And I'm sure on some level they know they're not as talented as they are, as they could be full strength at this moment. I don't think that's anything but the honest to God truth. It's not a big deal to me. And if you're on the team, the only thing it should do in the least bit, maybe upset you, play harder, work harder.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, I get it. Definitely coach before been in the trenches, so you get the frustration. But today's kid, I'm not sure that's the best move because they're not as mentally strong as like when we came up. Like me, I would just like, okay, I'll be pissed, and I would just try to show him how to spike.
Mm-hmm.
To make him I would try to make him look like the dumbest coach ever for saying that. Like post game, so kill so much. We on a winning streak. I want to be post game sitting next to Roy. Like, Roy, do you take back those comments you said? And I want to just turn and look at him like,
now don't you?
Yeah, that's what you do. But I don't know these kids that respond the way, especially with how they coddle from everybody, from their coaches and parents and stuff. I think he really wants to say, and I'm starting to see a lot of coaches vent the frustration across when I talk to them off wax. A lot of these kids that are highly ranked, they don't know how to play the game, and they're frustrated because now it's when we mean by play the game, it's not about skill and athleticism. They don't know how to play. They don't know how to set a good screen. They don't know how to read defenses and react instinctively to make plays. So I think a lot of college coaches find themselves not only having to teach them the system, which is already hard enough, they have to teach them how to play basketball.
Yep.
And if you don't have the clout, like, say, of a Roy Williams and stuff, you may not be around long enough to see the fruits of your labor. Now, on the other hand, I mean, Roy got to take some heat, too, because guess what? You recruited. You offer these kids.
Mm-hmm. They were special enough to get a scholarship.
That's my point. So you offer them. They took the scholarship. So you got to do something. You just got to work harder. That's what it is, man. And, I mean, it's tough. It is what it is, and I get it. North Carolina as a team, they're shooting 40% from the field. From the free throw line, they're shooting 65%.
Oh, God.
3-point range, just shooting 30%. So this is not a typical North Carolina team. But, I'm seeing the guy on Tobacco Road go through the same thing. He has senior leadership. He getting top flight recruits. They even had injuries. All of a sudden, he's keeping them afloat. So you can't just blame the kids. And at the end of the day, you're led by freshmen. They don't know anything. They're literally going through everything for the first time. So, calling them out, maybe he's trying to push the right buttons, but I don't think with these type of kids that's going to click right. Maybe a couple decades ago, yeah, but right now, nah, this ain't going to fly. So, but we'll see how they turn around. They play Pittsburgh tomorrow. Pittsburgh's 10-4, so we'll see how it goes. The ACC is no joke. And last question, Bill Polian and two colleagues from Sirius didn't vote for Lamar Jackson for, All Pro. What are your reactions to
Hater.
that?
You are a hater if you did not vote for him. You are a hater. That's all I have to say. Because tell me why. I need legit facts and reasons of why. And you don't have any, so I don't want to hear.
He said he voted for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson have an excellent year.
He did, not better than Lamar Jackson though. He did. Don't get me wrong. He definitely had a great year, but he ain't going a 10-game winning streak. Ain't that what they did?
That's tough. So you choose to make sure the one you don't like doesn't get you mess up the game.
Unanimous.
But of all the other people to vote for, you make sure you did still vote for one of them. Interesting. That's just, come on, man. You're wrong, dude. It's okay. You feel a certain way, and you're the reason why evolution of quarterback's going where it's going anyways. You got 2 years, dude. It's a wrap. It's done.
You ain't gonna have no choice no time soon.
It's almost time to be the way that quote unquote is supposed to do things then, it's being phased out. You can't do it that way. You just can't. If you can't move, you're in trouble. That's where we're at. And if you can't move, now you're looking at a thing where you're limited. Now that doesn't help your offense. Now you end up in situations where, Tennessee, we got to run the ball 77 times because, Lord forbid we throw it, you can't move him out, you can't put him on the run. And Cardell, not to be mean to him, but and he can move a little bit. But it's just stupid, man. It's petty. Ego is a mother. That's so crazy. I'm not shocked, but it's just sad.
Like you said, pride of mother. It's a mother, man. That's all it is. Like you say, I was wrong about Lamar Jackson.
It's so
and it would just be over. It would be dead.
It's so easy to do. You vote for him because you do the right thing, and you keep it moving. This is a non-story. We're not talking about it. You go on with your life, and because you're probably who you are, you're never going to change your way. I'm sure there's some poor kid next year in the next couple drafts. Go pick on that kid. That might not, they probably won't become Lamar. And then you'll be happy. But you messed up on this one.
But it just speaks to, part of my disgust with the NFL because he's not the only one that feel like that still. And a lot of them are still making hires. A lot of them own them teams. A lot of them big-time GM, front office execs that control a lot what goes on in the NFL. And that's why I'm pulling for Lamar to win the Super Bowl because I think when he do that, it would kill everything. Similar to, I don't know if people remember when I was coming out of high school and entering college, it was horrible to be kind of what I am, like a combo guard. You're not a traditional point guard, but you're not big enough to play the two. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't until Dwayne Wade came in killing and then he won the championship where you notice you ain't heard that since.
Oh, it's an in thing to have.
Yeah.
We need one.
Now the league is dominated by combo guards. The one thing that they hated back then. So when one finally gets through, then that's when they change their mind because they have to now. You know what I'm saying? And most people in the league, in these pro leagues, are copycats. They don't think for themselves as we think. So when something's successful, they try to duplicate it. Like what you say with the three-point shooting, they're trying to duplicate what the Warriors know. But the problem is you don't have Steph and Clay. So you can't do that. You got to stick to your DNA. And that's just what it is. So I'm pulling for them to win and keep proving these Bill Polians wrong, keep making them look stupid. But, man, come on, dog. It's similar what Deladon went through last summer. The one writer from Chicago mad because she left Chicago, then give her a unanimous MVP. Man, they work hard for that, man. Do the right thing and just give them that award because that's history.
And that's the other thing is where's your integrity in this, right? If you're supposed to be a talent evaluator, you're supposed to be a journalist or whatever. Again, for technically just doing the right thing, what you're supposed to be here to do, it should be a no-brainer. However you feel, your personal feelings shouldn't be in this.
It's like what Fabulous said. He said media promotion is fake. They all they do is just stamp what's hot. And I'm like, you're right. It's just too much fake, man. Like I said, man, your integrity as an evaluator. That's why see that right there. I don't even want to hear you say nothing ever again about no. Like I don't want to hear you or see you. That should kill your credibility whatsoever.
It should, but
But he's a special skin tone, man. So he will
He's
get
a
the pain.
hater.
And it's a wonderful league that is celebrated. Like,
He's a hater.
literally where we're at right now, people are still like, oh, well, it's the regular season.
And you really think they not sitting at home waiting for Lamar to lose?
No,
Hoping
no,
he lose
no.
this
Oh,
weekend?
man.
No, but that's my point. Like they can't wait. Just
And
to
they
be
play the
like,
Titans.
I told you so.
Or even if they win, him just play bad.
They, need
They
one
won
that
because of
way.
the defense in the running game. It wasn't him.
Dude, one of my favorite things I love to hear, but in United fans all my life, right? One of the biggest myths known to man, that during the Kaepernick years, we had a lockdown defense in the postseason. That defense was tremendous in the regular season. Every postseason, basura.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you them line up, like, I'm just being honest here, right? Go to Green Bay, we didn't stop Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
They
Aaron
just-
Rodgers, I'm about to
they
say,
just didn't stop
he
Kaepernick.
moving that ball up there. He tore y'all.
They made a play here and there, and he messed up because they couldn't keep up with a quarterback. Atlanta was struggling, whatever happens. Read option with Frankie G and Cap, couldn't stop it. Defense makes Matt Ryan things, you get out of Atlanta alive. Keep it a buck. Matt Ryan did some Matt Ryan things. Apply a little pressure, threw it to a corner, slipped on the route. Dude looks like he's great. Wasn't great defense. They were moving up and down the field, real easy. Like, it was bad. It's just sometimes you gotta tell the truth. And yes, the Ravens have a very good defense, but you're allowed to play defense like that when you literally have a nuclear option in terms of a weapon offensively. Because you can
Back in the
risk,
game, right?
you can
Real
play
quick.
however you want to play. Because they know, hey Cardell, look man, we sent the house this drive. Dude made a good play. They gotta go stop number 8.
Mm-hmm.
We don't gotta stop him. You gotta stop him. You play differently. It changes everything. At the end of the game, you're in situations that changes everything. So now you gotta play honest. People talk about it football all the time. Nobody ever wants to play honest. You got people like Lamar. You have to play honest. Then you're in trouble. Look what happened to the Bills with Deshaun. 0 blitz. Everybody gets home. The 2 dudes get home. Offensive line. They slid the protection. Still messed it up. You would think, ideally, if that was a certain type of quarterback, the game's over. Bills in the next round. Because you can't get away from that situation. Lo and behold, what happened? Here we are. Just you gotta accept the future, man. It is what it is. The positions continue to evolve, and now we're in a place where, hey, it is what it is.
Go Ravens.
We're gonna see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Right here on the Focus TV.
I can't help it.
This is so petty.
It is,
We'll
and
get
it's
at y'all
gonna be
next
petty
week.
next week, and the week after, and the week before the Super Bowl, and the week after.
What if they lose?
I'm still gonna say go
God
Ravens.
damn. Piss on your grave.
You wanna know what? For your hope, better hope nobody has a good 3 games.